Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. Just giving you a video on what we did this weekend. A little bit different. Once again, I was doing another project, so I haven't done a lot to the 2J. I did a bunch of research, which I'll do a video on later. But I was fortunate enough to be involved in a project that's kind of unusual. A lot of people don't, for better lack of a better term, are too afraid to try and do. Anyhow, here is what we were doing. So this is a 99 f250 Super Duty 7.3 diesel truck. Manual transmission, 4-wheel drive, 6-speed. Anyhow, so as you can see, we took the motor out. She is a heavy, it ain't like pulling a gas motor, that's for sure. So it took a little bit of time to get her out, but there's the transmission. We pulled the transmission and transfer case all as one. There was a lot going on, so unfortunately I couldn't do a video while we were doing this, because there was, we weren't really sure if that tranny jack was going to hold that behemoth up and whatnot, so there was quite a bit going on. The other issue that we were running into is that the oil pan sits down behind this cross member here, and so we had to lift the engine up to get it over there without it hitting the bottom of the cowl here for the covers the windshield wiper transmission. And of course the downpipe and all that. There was a lot of stuff here that we had to wiggle it out to get her out of there. And but we did get it, and actually it wasn't that bad. Considering when we started, there was a lot of boxes that were unchecked as far as what challenges would come about. But actually it wasn't that bad. The truck belongs to Nick. You probably saw him in the video when I pulled the motor out of the 2J. This is his truck, and basically the reason why we pulled it apart is the gasket that goes to the timing cover. Actually, I'll go over here to the timing cover. That'll make it more simpler. The gasket here that goes between the timing cover, which is this, and the engine block was leaking coolant. And the oil pan bolts up to right here. This is the front part of the oil pan, but the problem with it is that this is the oil pickup tube that bolts to it, and you can't get the pan out or out of the way enough to get this unbolted. So that's why we pulled the motor out, because we could jack the motor up, but still, if one of these bolts falls down in the pan, then all that. The other option was to raise the body. But I don't know, I didn't really feel that comfortable raising the body. Neither did he. He was, we thought long and hard about this before we'd, started this project, and that's why we thought, well, we'll just pull the motor out and just do it right and whatnot. So there's the oil pickup I was talking about. So it bolts here, and it just doesn't allow the pan to get out of the way, like I said, to get this out of there. Now, if this was like if this was a 460 big block Ford, or any of the 351s and whatnot, they don't bolt the oil pump to the timing cover, the oil pickup, because the oil pump is actually in the pan on the gas motor. But on this timing cover on the other side is a gear-driven oil pump, just like a Toyota 22R, so to speak. So this bolts on the front, and that's the low side oil pump that does all the oil pressure for the push rods and all that. That oils the actual motor itself. So with that being there, the pickup has to be on the timing cover. So anyhow, that's the reason why we had pulled this apart, and so we got it all cleaned up, and we got all the boots all cleaned up and all that. And so part two, when he took it apart, he had noticed that the turbo had quite a bit of side play, like the bushing was worn out inside of there. So so I ended up decided to take that apart and clean it all up, and we're still in debate mode as far as what he wants to do with the turbo. probably rebuild it. He's been kicking around the idea of just getting another one that's got a larger cold side for a little bit more boost. I haven't talked to him yet today to figure out, what he decided to do with that. And so basically we're going to re-gasket this sucker. Either A, rebuild this turbo, or B, replace it. And also the really common problem on these is this crush gasket inside of here was leaking really bad. This whole tube was just black from exhaust leak. So we're going to take this apart and put another gasket in there, seal that up. And that should take care of that problem. It's got a brand new clutch and flywheel in it. Somebody put it in there before he bought the truck. So luckily we didn't have to really mess with this. That was really, really nice. Because getting the tranny back in is going to be a pain in the ass. It's not going to be any fun at all. So we figured not messing with the alignment on there. We know it was together like that. So that's why we didn't put it on the engine stand. I did take the 2J off the engine stand, because we were originally going to put it on there, but after further review, we decided to just do everything on the engine hoist and leave the clutch the way it is. No sense in creating more headaches for ourselves, because that transmission is big and heavy and a pain in the ass to work with. So other than that, this turned out pretty straightforward. He's also kicking around the idea of changing the oil pump up here to a higher volume one. The 99s had a smaller pump on them for some reason. Later on, like in the later early 2000s, they'd put a bigger pump on there to run the injectors. So he's kicking around the idea of putting one of those on there. They're kind of spendy, so I haven't heard back on that either. But everything else looks pretty good on it. Got her all cleaned up. And he's going to be getting some parts today, and hopefully either this week he's going to throw this thing back together. I'm assuming he's probably going to throw this back together this week, and then we can put the engine in this weekend. Or worst case scenario, we'll put her together this weekend and slam her back in. So not too terribly bad. I did do a little bit of stuff with the 2J, not much though. I took the computer and all the main wiring harness off of it, so now it's just got the basically just the harness for the motor here. And I figured that way I could take the wiring harness over here and really just start to carve it up. Now that I really got an understanding of what I got to do, which I will do a video on later on, I just wanted to throw a little tidbit in there. And of course we got old blue back here again. Gonna get this thing fixed up as well. Got a couple little minor things I need to iron out on her, but we'll get this thing all squared away too, and get this thing out of here, and then I can bring the Toyota in and start to get that thing prepped up for wheeling season, which I'll do a video on that, show you guys the motor I got in there, my setup and all that, and just kind of give you a once over on that, because I haven't really gone over the truck very much. I'm focusing on the 2JZ and getting that all prepped up and ready to go. So anyhow, that's basically what we did this weekend. I got parts all over the place and stuff cleaning all over the place, and it was quite an adventure. So anyhow, I appreciate you watching the video, and as always, hit the like and subscribe button, and I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.